now, look at this show. Here we are. We are sitting here with Todd Pottinger, one of our famed reporters, and with a segment called Where's Todd? And we send Todd out. Actually, Todd goes out on his own to find unusual places here in the Pacific Northwest and people. What did you find this time, Todd?
Well, you know, I'm proud to say that I grew up in the Northwest. You grew up in Puyallup. I grew up in Vashon Island and Seattle. We want to show folks some of the interesting things around the Northwest and have them meet some of the interesting people. And we headed up to Orcas Island.
You know what they're doing? They're pointing over there.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
No, everybody in the audience knew you're supposed to look over there. Now you look over there.
Okay, let's see. All right. Anyway.
But I thought you were talking to me.
No, well, we're having a conversation, or trying to.
It looked very much like a conversation.
Incredible. But you know, Ross, there are some people in the Northwest and even around the world that believe there's a vortex on Orcas Island.
Oh, you were telling us about this.
Yeah, up in East Sound.
Can you explain what is? Do you explain what a vortex is?
Well, we'll explain to you. We'll explain it in the tape piece. But whether or not you believe there's a vortex there or not, there's definitely some interesting things going on there. Take a look. Take a look.
The jewel of Orcas Island, topped by 2,400-foot Mount Constitution, cradled by some of the most serene beaches in the Northwest. If you're looking for paradise on a spring afternoon, look no further. And if you're looking for a vortex, the believers say one of the most powerful energy sources in the universe lies just off Orcas Island.
Just an inward peace. It feels very powerful. It feels like you're in touch with that which is. I think it's ancient. I think it's been there since the beginning of time.
Star Farish is a believer. He came here 25 years ago to help start something called the Lewis Foundation. The foundation bought the Outlook Inn, a 100-year-old country roadhouse with a commanding view of the vortex.
This was as close as we could get to it, and that's why we bought it.
If you can see it, just on the other side of that little island.
I would say the very center of the vortex is about where that piece of driftwood is.
Are we supposed to be feeling something right now?
I don't know if you're supposed to or not. It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as something is going on within you, whether you know it or not, whether there's a calmness going on, whether there's a feeling of solidarity, a peacefulness, something you can experience that you don't normally experience.
Farish believes Orcas was once part of an ancient continent flourishing at the time of Atlantis.
Atlantis was basically the scientific continent. That is, they had the great scientific achievements. They did things with crystal energy and of that sort. And they had units that flew through the air, and they had units that went under the water, and things that we don't really understand. But this was reportedly the corresponding spiritual continent.
And Farish is not alone. New Age believers have taken root on Orcas.
Do you believe there's a vortex out in front of the Outlook Inn?
Out in front of the Outlook Inn? Well, yeah, I think actually I heard it was more just north of Turtleback, but I think definitely it's on that side of the island.
Elizabeth Starr runs a crystal shop here, far from the madding crowd.
When I get back here, it just quiets you down. It's like a blanket, warm blanket.
It all started with the Lewis Foundation and Louis Gittner. He's a New Age teacher and author who writes about inner spirituality.
Nice colors.
And you can still find Louis in the twilight of his guru's life at the Outlook Inn.
Lewis has had 3 strokes, and he told me after his first strokes he thought his job was done, and that was okay. But he's loved by really a lot of people. Here's one way that after a stroke we make Lewis smile like this. Smile. He likes that.
Their foundation believes the vortex they live next to is important beyond this world.
I've seen many, many UFOs. I understand they're here only to observe and can't interfere because of the energy that's here, that this is how they recharge their batteries, so to speak.
The UFOs? The
UFOs. That they would fly in the same pattern every time that we saw them, and that would be right over the inn, right over this island, right straight down the bay here.
Could this be an extraterrestrial way station, a rest stop for the cosmos? Islands have a way of tolerating a range of beliefs, and on Orcas Island, home to the intersection of the Horseshoe Highway and Prune Alley, many believe just down the street, a vortex as old as Atlantis, is as powerful as it ever was.
I can't tell you how many times people come into our little inn and they say, wow, it feels like I'm home. It feels like I've arrived. It feels like I belong here. And I think that it has to do with that they actually lived in one form or another on this continent at one time in the past.
Ooh, Todd. Now, I was making some notes there. He said that's the spiritual Atlantis, not the scientific
Yeah,
one.
the corresponding spiritual continent.
And that's where UFOs recharge their batteries.
That's what they believe, you know, and you know, it's interesting. They don't push their philosophy at the Outlook Inn if you happen to be open to it. I personally don't believe it, but I will tell you, I was out on that little island. I did get a sense of calm, you know.
Are you sure it wasn't a static cling?
Yeah, I'm a pretty hyper guy anyway.
Are you?
So,
okay.
you know.
Todd Pottinger, where's Todd? That's where he was. And you know what? It doesn't matter, because that's which is.
Yeah.
Or what, something like that. Yeah. You know, we know where you are right now. Stay right here. We'll be back when we're going to find out how our Mission Improbable turned out. Okay.